I said, we eliminated segregation, right? Everybody goes, now it's like the hand going, I don't know. I don't know.
Do I say something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What you gonna say? I don't know. I'm going to just safely say, oh, I don't know. I said, well, no, let's just take a look at it. You know, we eliminated segregation in America officially. And then I asked the audience, is there a hood? Does anybody know where the hood is? All their hands up. I said, so you know that there's a place where black people are. Okay. But there's no sign on the freeway that says next right hood.
Right.
So we pretend that's not true. We pretend that segregation doesn't exist in America, and it exists everywhere in America, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the lie when people are wanting to see it up front. But then what is the symptomology of post-traumatic slave syndrome? Because the truth of the matter, it's not a diagnosis. It's not post-traumatic stress disorder, which is treated with medication and talk therapy and any number of other things. Post-traumatic suggests that not only have you been harmed physically, you've been harmed emotionally. You've been harmed spiritually. You've been harmed economically.
Right.
You have been harmed politically. You've been harmed. And that requires more than medicine and talk therapy. That requires justice. Healing cannot happen without justice. Because we'd love that to be it, because all they do is put a code in the DSM and figure out how to get paid for injuring us. Are you following?
Ooh, Doc.
I'm just saying, you know, and so when I think about it on a practical level for those that are your listeners or your viewers, and I want people to start looking at everyday behavior that we've normalized. That is adaptive behavior. It is survival behavior.
You give this example of being at the bank. And you got the little children at the bank. The mother standing there with her little son at the bank, and in the line.
In the line.
Yeah.
In the line. So what? I don't know. I am 67 years old, and I knew where I was in the bank. And when I asked black people to this day, I said, when you were little and you were in any place of business, not just a bank, but particularly in the bank, where were you in proximity of your parent? You are right next to him.
And if you do not move,
and you try get you. I don't know what the snap is, but the snap is in there. Get you. Right. Child can't move. The child cannot move. Sometimes they're literally holding on.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is a bank. The mother, the father, with the little kids in the same bank. There are white children. They rolling around. They sliding down the aisle, rolling on the rings, coming up to you saying, oh, that's pretty hair. I like, what's your name? There's a kid rolling around. Now, the black children are adhered to their parents. But you see this is a nonverbal communication now. There's something that both sets of children are learning. Both sets of children are innocent. They're just children, but they're learning. And the black children are learning anger, fear, and shame.
Absolutely.
Right there. Nobody said a word. And it is reinforced. I mean, what's so deep about it is they can't move. Now, the white children are going, they can't move. Something must be wrong with them. Because they can't move. And then the black kids look and say, it's their world, not mine. Then when we look at the social constraints, because you see, this is not just an individual and one family. We've all been socialized. So now in the back of the line is another black person. They don't know this black mother or father and their children. They get to the counter. Now the kids are little. They're actually lower than the counter. And they're under the counter. Now let me explain something. There is something called secure attachment. And there is a level of comfort in exploring one's environment.
Absolutely.
That's a normal
Yes.
human developmental phase for a child, to have a level of autonomy that says, I'm free to move, right? So now the children are underneath the counter. The parent is distracted, dealing with the teller, and the children are trying to escape. So they're sliding. They're trying to slide down because they're trying to actually fulfill that developmental task.
Right.
You see, it's in them to do. But the person in the back that doesn't know the parent sees the little escapees, and they give them the eye that only black people can give. It's that stare. Right? And the kid goes, oh, man. And they start moving back over. So here is a stranger that got your back now.
Yeah.
Now let's ask the question, why? Why is everyone behaving that way? If you ask the parent, they go, well, they don't need to be running around. They give you reasons. That's where I was when I was in the bank. And what that has to do with is survival.
Yes.
We saw what happened when Emmett Till strayed just
Yes.
a little too far, just being a kid. Didn't even do what they said he did. He didn't even say, hey, baby, none of that happened. The woman who claimed that, wrote about it in her book.
Right.
That it was all a lie, and they killed him. And so what we have learned is that we aren't safe. And that behavior, even when it is safe, it is locked in to our DNA that says we don't get to do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's so real, Doc, because I look at it even with my nephew. I have an 8-year-old nephew, and he has grown up as a free person, a free thinker. And so he has autonomy. We go out. He needs something. He will go up to the server. He's going to get up. He's going to make sure, right? But then there are moments, right, when he's at school, right? And my sister is like, I know you better not have them white folks calling me up there. Like, you don't have them white folks calling my phone about you. So as much as he's been given freedom, there is a part of him and there's a part of you, even in this day and age, that says, but hold on now. I'm going to let you explore. I'm going to let you be free. I know you are a thinker. I know you got freedom. But there's a part that I still have to be vigilant, hyper vigilant about, to keep you safe.
That's right. And here's what's interesting about that, right? When I talk to Black parents, and I actually have a 10-week graduate level course that I teach online. And I actually have done that particular course in the community with just parents. And my only rule is if I show up, you better show up because I'm doing it free, right? And what I've learned is, you see, we have trauma associated with schools as adults. Black parents don't feel comfortable going into schools. My daughter did research on it, right? We're triggered. We're triggered walking in there because we remember what happened to us. So when I'm in audiences and I say to parents, I said, you have a child. Let's just, middle school, whatever age. It doesn't really matter what age the child is. And you see the child has got a C on their report card. And you say to that child, why did you have this C? And they'll tell you, that's because my teacher, and I don't say the answer, it's because my teacher and the audience all at once says, doesn't like me.
Doesn't like me.
My teacher doesn't like me. We are relationship-based people. That goes all the way back to our ancestors. We're relationship-based.
Yes.
That's why when we walk down the street, all we have to do is that nod. Mm-hmm. And everyone knows what the nod means. Perfect stranger in the grocery store. Mm-hmm. What does a nod mean? The nod means I see you.
I see you. I see you.
It means I see you.
Yeah.
Right? So that is embedded in us. Our children grow up calling, I was calling people auntie and uncle. I didn't know till I was fully grown they had no biological connection to me. You better put a handle on it. That's auntie.
That's it.
If my grandkids were here, they'd call you auntie.
Yes. Or
right?
Miss so-and-so.
Or miss.
Or miss.
That's right.
Because my sister be like, she don't eat lunch with you at the school. That ain't your friend. That ain't your home girl.
That ain't your little friend.
That ain't your little friend. That's Miss so-and-so. That's Mr. That's Mr.
That's right. You're gonna, because it's respectful,
It's
right?
respect,
So our children grow up in that, and they go to school, and they're ignored, and it hurts them, and they don't even have the words to articulate. They're only 4 or 5 years old, and all they know is I'm reading you, because that's the other thing that people don't understand about Black children. Black children can read you before the developmental charts say they can. They may not be able to articulate it, but they can tell when you're not being sincere.
Right.
And then they get punished for it.
Ooh.
They punish them for that. And so I work in the community. I work with parents. I give them the language. I help them deal with how they're triggered, because when they were in school, they felt like they weren't smart enough. Teacher didn't call on them, or they were always looked at negatively. Another study, Yale Child Study, looked at a huge number of teachers. I think it was 126 teachers they looked at, preschool. And what they wanted to know, they told the teachers that we want you to look at this room full of children, and we want you to point out any potential problem you might see there, any potential problem. Where the deception is there was no problem behavior going on. They wanted to look at the trajectory of their gaze. They wanted to know, where did they look when they expected bad behavior?
Oof.
And of course, it came out the same way we understand of all these kids that are getting expelled or kicked out. They look specifically at the black boy.
Absolutely.
They look specifically at the black boy. Even when there were two children off task, white and black, not only both off task, doing the same off task behavior, they only saw the black boy.
Absolutely.
And of these over 100 teachers, they weren't all white teachers. Do you see what I'm saying? When you close your eyes, the image, the same thing comes up. So here you have these children that aren't doing anything wrong.
But being children.
And being children.
They're being children.
And then they get punished for it.
Yeah. Hey, Vault family, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure to check out our full interview on our channel at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential leaders and change makers. Don't forget to like, to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. See you next time.